Richard is a Muskegon resident, been here a long time, and prior to the activities that he's now undertaking, he worked for 15 years within the county to do us all a big favor, and he's been very successful in that endeavor. You go into a restaurant now, and you don't have to fight cigarette smoke. Well, Dick was forefront in the fight to get the legislation and get all that information passed so that we could enjoy a smoke-free atmosphere. So we owe Dick our gratitude for that. Well, as that became accomplished, Dick figured, well, there's got to be something else that I should do, because all this time he had recognized that we were losing our World War II veterans too fast. So Dick embarked on a program to try to interview all the veterans from World War II in Muskegon County. And he'll tell you the numbers, but he's up over 900. And he performs that service. It's very critical to us, so we don't lose the story. We don't lose the understanding of what these veterans did to give us what we have today. So without any other words, Richard Mullally.
Thank you, Dan. How do you say thank you to a veteran? There are so many ways. We've already done several of them today. We're here. We're celebrating Memorial Day. We stood for the national anthem. We stood for other parts of the program. We put our hands over our heart, or we saluted, we removed our caps. There are so many ways to say thank you to all veterans, those who have passed away and those who are living. What I'll do today is to speak from the heart to tell you about something special that is happening in Muskegon County, and only in Muskegon County. Throughout the nation, we have about 1,700 counties, but in this county, the people who fought for us in World War II are being remembered. I have a number of things to show you. On Decoration Day, which now is called Memorial Day, the whole idea was and is to honor those who gave everything. It's been said that all gave some, and some gave all. If you'll notice this black briefcase in front of the podium, there's a number on it, 436. That represents the number of Muskegon people, men and women, who died in the war. These are the ones who never came back. That briefcase is full of pictures, articles, and every kind of piece of information I've been able to gather about these people who never came back from the war. Maybe you know or remember some of them. That is an ongoing project, and I will continue that as long as I possibly can. In fact, out of that 436, I have pictures of well over half of them so that they will not be remembered. The people who died in the war are remembered in a number of ways. Their names are chiseled in stone at the Veterans Memorial Park on the Causeway. Their names are listed in various documents published by the Muskegon Chronicle and other organizations, but nowhere that I have been able to find are there pictures showing. So that's one of the smaller aspects of this project. I'd like to talk to you today about one particular person out of those 436. Actually, she's not in the list. She's not on the monument. She is almost completely forgotten. Her name is Louise Famiano. If you look at today's Muskegon Chronicle on page 3, you will be able to read everything that we know about her, which is not very much, except she was killed in Belgium during the Battle of the Bulge. She was a corporal in the Women's Army Corps, and she was from Muskegon. This is the only known picture of her. It's appeared on WZZM TV a couple nights ago, and it's in the Chronicle today, but nothing is known about the circumstances of her death, and she is not remembered. I'm hoping that somehow we can find out more about her. I know for sure that the women did not receive fair treatment during World War II. I know that because I've talked with many, many hundreds of veterans, women and men both, and the ones I've talked to about this particular thing all agree. In that time, the women were not given fair treatment. This lady was only featured in the Chronicle one time, and that was when she was advanced in rank to corporal. That's how we got her picture. I just happened to find it by accident a couple of years ago. When her death was reported, there were two men shown in photographs and explanations of how they died, and at the very last line, sort of like an afterthought, oh, by the way, WAC Corporal Luis Famiano died. It's just not fair. When I started this project a couple of years ago, I was quite naive. I thought I might be able to find about 50 Muskegon area World War II veterans still living. There are well over 1,000. And I see some of you here today I've met and talked with. But I was naive because I thought also only of the men. It never occurred to me that, yes, women had served, and I didn't give them a thought until my sister woke me up and said, you should go talk to my friend Barbara. She was an Army nurse during the war, and that was the beginning. These are the 31 women I have found in Muskegon County who did serve in World War II. 20 of them are still living. And I've had the privilege of meeting each one of these people in their homes or in a nursing home and talk to them and listen to them, and they have stories to tell. Every one of these 31 women were quietly going about the last years of their lives in anonymity until I started poking and prodding. Now we have their records, and there are so many more. Maybe you know somebody who served in World War II, who was a lady. On the sheet that you have, you will see a listing of 11 organizations that women served in World War II. Those are the 11 I've found so far. Help me. I'm going to say that a number of times today. Help me find more. If you forget everything I've said today, please remember these 4 words: I need more women. I've had the opportunity to meet many people from Muskegon Heights High School who graduated in the 1940s. One of them showed me his yearbook from 1943. 5 complete pages in small print was devoted to the Muskegon Heights High School people, men and women both, who were actively serving in the Army and the Navy and all of the branches of service at that time. 5 pages, 631 people just from that one high school. World War II was a massive event. I know you're also clapping for Muskegon High School, North Muskegon High School, the Catholic high schools, because in those schools, the young men and women were being prepared for the military. They knew they were going to go in as they graduated or just even before they graduated. It was a worldwide effort, and Muskegon County was right in the forefront. I'm estimating, I don't have the number yet, but I'm estimating that approximately 16,000 men and women from Muskegon served in that war. That war was a little different from the wars we've had since. We were attacked on December 7, 41 by the greatest military force in history, strongest. And 3 days later, it was declared war upon us by Germany, another of the most aggressive and powerful forces in the world at that time. We were nothing compared to them, but we sure caught on in a hurry, thanks to the 16.5 million people who served in that war. I'll just bet most of you have a World War II veteran in your background. It could be an uncle, it could be a brother, it could be a grandfather. That person, whoever that man or woman is from Muskegon County, deserves to be remembered, so that the young people here today and the people who are not even born yet, years from now, will be able to go to the Hackley Library, the Great Lakes Naval Museum, and also the LST 393 Museum. And using the technology of the future, they'll simply type in their great-grandfather's or grandmother's name, and a beautiful picture, sometimes full-color picture, will show up of when they were young and handsome. Their information will be printed at the bottom, and I know this is going to happen because it's already happening. The pictures that I've collected are being scanned. They're being put into a computer base so that future generations will understand what happened in this most important event in the history of the world. This is a book that is only seen by either the veterans themselves when I visit, or the veterans' family, the survivors, maybe the children. There are hundreds and hundreds of Muskegon County veterans in this book. And there are so many more I haven't reached out to yet. I hope that you will take the sheet that you are having with you now. My phone number, my email address is there, and all I need is a call. I can find some of these people by myself. I've stopped many older men on the street or in the store, and I say, "Excuse me, are you a World War II veteran?" And they almost always say yes, because let's face it, almost all of the young men in that time period did serve. Occasionally one of them will say, "No, I was in the Korean War." So then I say, "Well, you did look a little young to me." Windy day. A couple of forgotten groups. I've already mentioned the ladies, and I'd like to mention another group too, a group that suffered greatly from prejudice and discrimination during World War II. When people have looked through the book, quite often I hear the question, where are the black veterans? So I patiently point out the ones I have met, the ones I have in the book. It's approximately 900 veterans right now. It's growing fast. It's going to be over 1,000 probably in June. 9 black veterans. I know for sure that hundreds of local black men and women served, but I've had a hard time finding them. I will be meeting one tomorrow, a man who graduated from Muskegon Heights, and he's going to share with me his information about being in the small platoon brigade over in Germany, building temporary bridges across the rivers in Germany so that our people and our equipment could get across. I'm looking forward to meeting with him. He was a 1943 graduate from Muskegon Heights High School. But as I said before, I need your help. I would like you to contact me and tell me about your veteran. If the veteran has passed away, that's 90% of them are gone already. That's no problem, because the family often, almost always, still has that photograph. And all I need to do, and I want to stress this beyond anything else, this is totally free. Nothing will be charged, and all I simply do is take a picture of that picture with my camera, I record the correct information, and it goes into the database, and that's one more veteran from Muskegon County. I'll tell you why it's free. I'll just give one example. First of all, I would be so embarrassed to take a nickel from a veteran. I have the greatest respect for all veterans, those serving today, those who have served in the past. And they have done wonderful things for us that we should be aware of, and I would never take a penny from the veteran or the veteran's family. I met with a man almost a year ago who was in the Battle of the Bulge, and I asked him about the weather. I knew that it was the worst winter in recorded history, and I asked him, did you freeze your feet like so many of the soldiers did? He said, yes, my feet were frozen, and I still suffer from it today. As I was finishing with him, I took a picture of his picture, recorded all the information. I was leaving and saying goodbye, and he said, well, what do I owe you for this? I said, are you kidding? You paid for this in 1944. All of your veterans who served in World War II have paid the price, so this is completely free. It's the least I can do for what they did for us. You might think I'm narrow-focused talking about World War II. Well, I have to be. I am one person doing this by myself, and there are 16,000 Muskegon veterans to catalog and to record their pictures. So when people have sometimes said to me things like, well, my brother was in the Korean War, can you include him? I respectfully say, you must find somebody else to do the Korean War people. And also I get requests to go to other counties. One man wanted me to go up to Ludington and meet with a group of World War II veterans up there, and I said to him, well, I would certainly like to, but have you noticed the price of gasoline? And I told him, you must find somebody in Mason County who will adopt the World War II veterans in that area. I am strictly narrow-focused. It would make me so happy if my words today could inspire a younger person, and I'm talking about somebody who might be in his or her 50s, who will adopt the Korean War veterans from Muskegon County. I've talked with many of those veterans, but I can't include all of that in this project. The project is too overwhelming. And I would certainly like to have somebody, even a much younger person, adopt the Vietnam veterans from Muskegon County so that their records, their pictures are preserved. Wouldn't it have been wonderful back about 1930 when Muskegon County had hundreds of Civil War veterans living here if a person had gone around and talked to them, taken their picture, recorded what regiment they were in, and then saved that information for us? Nobody did. And the same thing goes for World War I. We have allowed these veterans to quietly fade away and be forgotten. Well, yes, we remember them in generic ways like this, by saying good words and trying to remember their sacrifices. But if you have a World War II veteran in your family, deceased or not, if there is a picture, call me. I'll be there, and I will take good care of your veteran to make sure he or she is remembered forever. And my last word today is to any World War II veterans who are in the audience today. I've seen several of you, and I've seen familiar faces. You're in the book already, but some of you are not. If you, as a World War II veteran, are here today, before you go, and I don't mean before you leave today, I mean before you go, call me. Otherwise, it'll be too late. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening. Now you can do the very best thing. Give me your veteran, and I'll make sure he or she is given due respect.
Thank you, Richard. We appreciate all your efforts. The World War II veterans are being memorized and memorialized, and that included my